This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Evening, thanks for joining us. It was a random and unprovoked attack that left a 23-year-old in hospital. He was beaten and attacked by two people with a hatchet, all over a box of pizza. The incident has left him shaken and afraid to go outside alone. CBC's Gavin Axelrod has more and a warning. Some of the details are graphic.
The injuries are almost too much for Raleigh Walker to even look at.
Oh, so many things go through my head as soon as I see these. That's why I've kind of been holding my hands just away from my face.
It's hard to look at.
Oh yeah, very hard to look at.
On Friday, the 23-year-old was leaving this pizza place on Selkirk Avenue when two men he didn't know tried to steal his food. Then, they punched and kicked him and hit him in the head with a hatchet. He managed to break free and ran until stopping at a nearby fire truck.
I was just spewing blood out of my mouth and skull, and I was extremely worried I wasn't going to make it. And I was actually told that if the fire truck wasn't already in the vicinity, I wouldn't have made it from blood loss.
Walker says the gashes on his head needed stitches, and he also has injuries on his back. He's being treated with antibiotics because of the hatchet injury. There are also scars you can't see.
Walking outside is just not going to happen alone for a long time. I can't even sleep properly right now. Every time I close my eyes to try and sleep, it just keeps replaying in my brain. Sometimes I have flashbacks that wake me up. It's a mental toll.
The Winnipeg Police Service says its major crimes unit is investigating. Police said Sunday the incident appeared to be isolated with no public safety concerns. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A refugee hoping to make Manitoba her new home is struggling with red tape. She says the province won't remove her dead name from official documents and refuses to identify her by her new name and gender. The CBC's Arturo Chang reports.
Martha Hosha comes to this Winnipeg park often. She loves the view of the city that welcomed her as a refugee, for the most part.
In Canada, most of the cases when I'm like mentioning is that I have a preferred name, it's going to be used.
Hosha is a trans woman from Ukraine. She applied for asylum in Canada in 2024. A couple of years before that, she started transitioning. Immigration officials took her passport and issued her this ID, which identifies Hosha by her birth name and leads people to misgender her. Hosha says she's been trying to fix that for a while, but officials keep saying no. Manitoba only accepts permanent residence or citizenship documents for name changes.
This misrepresentation creates a loop for harassment and transphobia, I think.
The Manitoba Ombudsman declined to formally investigate the refusal. They said changing names could create issues with asylum claims and increase the possibility of fraud.
I think is that it's discriminatory.
This Ontario human rights lawyer says the decision may have violated Hosha's rights under the Canadian Charter.
I'm not sure that the answer that they cannot change the name because other government offices might get confused. I don't think those would withstand scrutiny.
A provincial spokesperson says Manitoba is committed to removing barriers, but must also balance safety and transparency. Activists say governments can do better.
Manitoba has attempted to improve its legal regime.
Celeste Trianon leads a legal clinic in Montreal that advises trans people across Canada on how to change their ID.
Yet at the same time, barriers like this shows that such inclusion does not apply to everyone.
Hosha said she knows she can still apply when she is a permanent resident, but it's still tough.
Basically affects majority of your life.
She hopes change comes for others caught in the system. Arturo Chang, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Starting Tuesday, pharmacists across Manitoba will be able to help more in the fight against measles. Kids between the ages of 2 and 19 will be able to get their shot without having to go to their doctor. It comes as Manitoba deals with the highest number of cases across the country. CBC's Bartley Kivas reports.
There are more measles cases in Manitoba than anywhere in Canada, an increasing cause for concern given the high virulence of the disease. Starting Tuesday, it'll be easier for younger Manitobans to get the measles vaccine. Pharmacists offered Friday to administer the shots, and one business day later, the health minister obliged.
I think that's a really good common sense step that we can take to make sure that more Manitobans have access to a really important vaccine right now. So I'm happy to share that I'm going to be signing that order for that to be in place tomorrow.
This means anyone aged 2 to 19 should be able to get a measles shot at a pharmacy Tuesday. No prescription required, no cost up front. Manitoba pharmacists are pleased.
There are 5 other provinces in Canada where pharmacists are already administering these vaccines. So this is not a new thing in Canada. And we really want to take an all hands on deck approach with this.
Given the severity of the measles outbreak in Manitoba, the minister was asked why not make vaccinations for young people mandatory.
The impacts of mandating on some folks has contributed to people really resisting vaccines altogether.
For some, the vaccine mandates of the COVID-19 pandemic remain a vivid memory.
If you want people to buy into vaccines, they need the information, they need the education, and they need to feel like they can have the choice to do so.
Uzoma Asaguera was also asked why Manitoba didn't enlist the help of pharmacists earlier. The minister's response was the pharmacists only offered on Friday. Bart Lakivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
At least 6 people died after facing delays in Manitoba's healthcare system last year. That's according to a summary of critical incidents covering from January to September. The stats are weighing on one Winnipeg family who's also lost a loved one after waiting hours for care this year. The CBC's Santiago Arias Orozco has that story.
Sherry Ross always tried to spend vacations with her sister Stacy.
We did so much stuff together, and I've lost that.
Stacy Ross died in January after waiting about 11 hours at the St. Boniface Hospital ER. Her death is being investigated as a critical incident. That's when a patient suffers from a serious outcome after an unintended event in the healthcare system.
In the year before Stacy's ER visit, at least 6 other people died after facing delays in care. That's according to critical incident reports from January to September 2025.
It makes me really mad that this is happening, that it's happened again and again, and there's been no change.
Among the reported cases in 2025, a patient deteriorated after a delay in a diagnostic evaluation. Another missed an opportunity for a timely transfer, and a third person didn't get timely treatment for an acute condition.
I'm not surprised.
Manitoba's Nurses Union president says the staffing levels are part of the issue. Darlene Jackson says nurses are trained to monitor for when a person's condition is declining, but there's not enough staff to do that.
May not be every hour during the day, they have busier periods, but I would say it's probably every shift you have individuals waiting that you're not able to get to. It's just the way it is.
Manitoba's health minister says the province is increasing staff and improving patient flow to reduce wait times. They also say every critical incident report is taken seriously, but Ross feels the review process is slow and wonders if her sister's death could have been prevented had the recommendations from previous incident reports been acted upon.
There has to be some follow through with it because they've done it so many times and nothing changes.
Ross wants the review of her sister's death to include staffing and hospital protocol changes, so others don't die waiting for care like she did. Santiago Arias Orozco, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Time now to bring in weather specialist Riley Lachuk. And Riley, the snow, it is back. I should say as predicted. We knew it was going to be back this week as you forecasted. But some people still just itching for spring.
Yeah, you know, I think March perhaps going out more like a lion than a lamb. If you recall the beginning of the month, certainly a lot more calm than relieving things here. So that snow has been falling pretty steadily in the west as we've gotten throughout the afternoon. We've seen some of that pushing into the Red River Valley throughout the afternoon hours as well, certainly particularly south of the Trans-Canada coming in waves, even some heavier pockets of that. We'll show you some video from Brandon a little bit later with some of that snow that fell throughout the day. So we have a special weather statement in place for much of southern Manitoba through the Parkland, particularly the southwest corner of the province. This is where we could see up to 15 centimeters of snow. South of the Trans-Canada in the Red River Valley, more like 5 to 10 centimeters. The closer you are to the Trans-Canada, closer to that 5 centimeter mark. And this special weather statement extending into northwestern Ontario, as well as the system. This area of low pressure continues to push its way eastward. That will have more of an impact on northwestern Ontario as we get through the day tomorrow. So a quick snapshot at some of the highways, looking at certainly did see some reduced visibility, particularly closer to Emerson, which saw some of those heavier bands of snow pushing throughout the day today, and closer to Winnipeg, certainly looking at the potential for some reduced visibility on highways as we get through the evening tonight. Likely some slippery patches as we get into the early morning tomorrow, as we see temperatures really dancing around the freezing mark. So overnight, periods of snow, another 2 to 4 centimeters coming in Winnipeg through the overnight hours. Starting to see that let up as we get through the morning, and then I think we've got a shot at some sunny breaks as we get through the afternoon, Brittany, and temperatures a bit closer to the freezing mark than today.
Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
The new leader of the federal NDP, Avi Lewis, wins. We'll have more on that straight ahead. The newly elected leader of the federal NDP says he'll be working to rebuild the party in the weeks and months to come. Avi Lewis says he'll be doing that during a cross-country tour and not from the House of Commons because he doesn't hold a seat. at least not yet.
I'm going back out to speak to all Canadians and not just NDP members to introduce them to our specific proposals around addressing the crippling cost of living crisis in Canada. When the caucus and I feel that the party is at a point where I'm needed in the House of Commons, I will look for the first available winnable seat, and that moment is not now.
Lewis won the leadership on the convention's first ballot Sunday with 56% of the vote. His progressive policy proposals include a national cap on rent, a wealth tax on the top 1% of earners, and publicly managed grocery stores and telecoms. He also campaigned on opposing new pipelines and liquefied natural gas terminals and accelerating investment in renewable energy. Lewis takes over as the NDP is coming off its worst electoral showing in history. But already cracks are emerging, with the Alberta and Saskatchewan NDP distancing themselves from him. But as Ian Fraze tells us, Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew took a different approach.
Wab Kinew showing love to the new leader of the federal NDP.
He's a great speaker. He's got an inspiring message, and I just loved the comment that he had about we can't wait another lifetime to have a government that represents New Democrat values.
Avi Lewis wants to be the guy to deliver. A self-described anti-capitalist, he was elected NDP leader Sunday over 4 other hopefuls. Lewis is the 3rd Jewish person to lead a federal party.
Canada, mark your calendar. The NDP comeback starts now.
While NDP leaders in Alberta and Saskatchewan have slammed Lewis's critical views on oil and gas, Kinew joined him on stage for his victory speech. Afterwards, Manitoba's premier offered praise.
I just love Avi. He's just a great person, and we don't have to agree on everything in order to do the big things together. The big things are healthcare, education.
Winnipeg Centre MP Leah Gazan endorsed Lewis in the leadership race.
Like Avi, I come from the movement, and I think to counteract this extreme right turn of the Liberal government, we need to build a strong left in this country.
One Manitoba delegate believes Lewis can unite progressives.
When you're building a movement, you're having these discussions and debates, you're making that bigger tent. That is the way we need to be successful as a party.
While another Manitoban thinks Lewis should soften his attacks on the oil industry.
I think he's got to understand, and hopefully he will, that a lot of the prairies rely on resource-based economies. And I think that he's got to be able to find a common ground.
Lewis may already be building those relationships. Just hours after his victory speech, he met with Kinew. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
It was a big night for some of Manitoba's biggest and brightest stars in the music industry.
I never thought I'd be here today. Thank you so much. Bye.
That's pop artist Begonia accepting her first Juno for Adult Alternative Album of the Year for Fantasy Life. Begonia tied for the award with 5-time Juno winner Bahamas. Meantime, Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra's 2025 album East Meets West Connections now has the title of Jazz Album of the Year. The artistic director wasn't able to be there because he was hosting an event in Winnipeg.
Well, it's going to take a while to sink in. I mean, in the business I'm in, it's going from one thing to another thing. As soon as you've done one concert, and I couldn't make the Junos because I had a brass concert yesterday, so I was focused on that until that was done.
Next year, it's Winnipeg's turn to host the Junos. This marks the 3rd time the city has welcomed Canada's biggest music celebration, following 2005 and 2014. One of Western Canada's biggest agricultural events kicked off Monday in Brandon. The Royal Manitoba Fair runs until Saturday at Keystone Centre. Dogs catching frisbees, magician and petting zoo are all part of the entertainment, as is show jumping. Organizers say it's for everyone, no matter where you're from.
We're looking forward to having a huge crowd
between 40 and 50,000 people this week. Not all in one day, mind you, but throughout the week, every day is going to be busy. So, and our show has grown. If you look at the footprint of the Keystone Center here, we've got a massive footprint, and every corner of the building has got something going on.
The event also features more than 300 agricultural exhibitors, including vendors selling everything from T-shirts to belt buckles. This is the 120th year for the Winter Fair. A big draw for people throughout a lot of the province. Many wondering, what is it going to be like, Riley? Are we going to have the horses outside in the snow as they make their way in?
Yeah, there's certainly some snow falling today in western parts of the province and really across the south. But things do calm down, Brittany, as we get through the rest of the week. So I'll start with that, the forecast for the Royal Manitoba Winter Fair. If you're taking a road trip out to Brandon, or maybe you're in Brandon and you're just curious about the forecast. Well, here you go. Looking at a clearing as we get through the day tomorrow through western parts of the province. Temperature around -2 in Brandon for Tuesday, -1 into Wednesday. We'll see some cloud building in. Then there's another system that'll likely have an impact on the province as we get toward the back half of the week. Right now, I'm looking at periods of snow in the west into the day on Thursday and back to a cloudy sky by the time we get to Friday, and things starting to warm up by the time we get toward the end of the week. So, yeah, I mean, prepare for more winter-like weather still. We're not all of a sudden snapping a finger and heading into spring here. It's going to take a little bit of a scenic route as we get through the next few weeks here. So as we look at satellite and radar, we've seen some cloud cover building into northern Manitoba as well, but certainly that snow falling in the south as we've gotten throughout the day. There's an area of low pressure that has brought some of that's skirting along the international border. So that's why areas like Emerson through Morden Winkler have seen some of those heavier bands of snow as we've gotten throughout the day. Pretty much wrapped up by the early morning, although in the Interlake, expect some light snow first thing in the morning and certainly into northwestern Ontario. And then we'll get some clearing on the back side of this as an area of high pressure starts to push in. So I think even by the drive home tomorrow in the Red River Valley, we're actually looking at more of a sunnier sky than cloud cover perhaps, but some of that clearing through the day will take some time to get there. In the north, there is a bit of a trough that works its way through as we get into Wednesday. That's not bringing much more than really some scattered flurries or some scattered light snow as we head toward the back half of the week. So what this is translating to in terms of snowfall yet to come, really we've gone through the bulk of it. So another 3-4 centimeters on the high end for much of southern Manitoba as we get through the next couple of days here. So prepare for a morning tomorrow in particular where you're having to brush the car off. Give yourself some extra time to get where you're going, particularly if you're heading out on some of the highways as we get through into the morning hours for Tuesday. So in the afternoon for Winnipeg, looking at -2, -1 into Wednesday, a bit of a brighter day ahead. And then I'm watching that next system that'll have an impact on the province as we get into the back half of the week and temperatures just above the freezing mark.
The weather update is brought to you by Paul Davis Property Restoration Experts. When things go wrong, we do what's right.
Well, shovelers were out in full force today tackling that fresh snow out in Brandon. We have more ahead right after this. Stay with us. The war with Iran is now in its 5th week with no end in sight. Fighting continues across the Mideast, with the U.S. and Israel launching a wave of attacks on Iran, and Iran responding by targeting an oil refinery in Israel and striking a key water and electrical plant in Kuwait. But now, along with all those missiles, threats are flying too from the U.S. president. Megan Fitzpatrick has the details.
President Donald Trump claimed Monday that talks with Iran to end the war are making progress, but had a stark warning for the country if they don't reach a deal quickly with the U.S. In a social media post, Trump wrote that the U.S. is prepared to blow up electric generating plants, oil wells, and Harg Island, and possibly strike all desalination plants key to providing drinking water, unless Iran allows shipping traffic to resume in the Strait of Hormuz and agrees to the 15-point deal the U.S. has proposed. Harg Island is key to Iran's oil exports, and Trump has suggested not only striking it, but seizing it. The Iranian regime has said before there are no substantial talks happening with the U.S. and is now publicly rejecting the American demands.
As I have mentioned before, the material conveyed to us under any title, such as the 15-point plan, has mainly included very ambitious, unrealistic, and illogical requests.
At a White House briefing Monday, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt insisted talks are ongoing and advised not to believe everything the Iranians are saying.
It's no surprise that we are seeing the remaining elements of the regime become increasingly eager to end the destruction and come to the negotiating table while they still can. Despite all of the public posturing you hear from the regime and false reporting, talks are continuing and going well. What is said publicly is, of course, much different than what's being communicated to us privately.
Trump has warned before about striking energy infrastructure, and his new deadline to reach a deal is 1 week away. As that deadline approaches, the U.S. military continues to build up personnel in the region. The White House says Trump has not ruled out using ground troops in Iran, but if he does decide to use boots on the ground, he won't say so publicly first so as not to tip off the enemy. Megan Fitzpatrick, CBC News, Washington.
Germany's chancellor says he's working with Syria's president to repatriate hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees. Friedrich Merz said they have an important part to play in rebuilding their country. Merz said some 700 to 800,000 Syrians have sought asylum in Germany. He expects 80% to return to their home country over the next 3 years. Merz's coalition government imposed tougher immigration controls when it took power last year as support for the country's nationalist AfD party surged. Germany opened its doors to Syrian refugees fleeing their country's 13-year civil war. That ended in 2024. The Prime Minister faced questions on Monday after one of his new MPs appeared to cast doubt on the presence of forced labor in China. But as Ashley Burke reports, the opposition says Mark Carney's responses didn't go far enough.
At a press conference about housing, the Prime Minister facing questions about forced labor in China instead.
There are parts of China that are higher risk and therefore need to be diligenced, yes.
Mark Carney asked to clarify his position after one of his own MPs cast doubt on the existence of the practice in China.
Mr. Ma has apologized for his comments and directly and unequivocally recognized the seriousness of the issue.
Michael Ma abandoned the Conservatives in December to join the Liberals and came under fire for his line of questioning against an expert at a committee last week.
Have you witnessed this yourself? Have you been there ever?
I've been to China many times.
Have you witnessed
since
forced labor in
1979?
Have you witnessed forced? Just a short answer. Have you witnessed forced labor?
She had told the committee about a Human Rights Watch report that says there's a risk of Uyghur forced labor being used in car makers' aluminum supply chains.
So did you get that
I
from
work closely
hearsay?
with Human Rights Watch, where researchers did witness it.
Afterwards, CBC News asked Ma to clarify his position.
Do you believe there is forced labor in China?
I believe there are forced laborers all over the world.
What about China specifically?
Well, all over the world.
But China specifically?
so I need to run.
Ma later said sorry for inadvertently coming across as dismissive on a serious issue, but some say the damage was already done.
In China, he's now seen as a hero for having put me in my place.
China's embassy called the forced labor allegations a blatant lie. The Conservatives say Carney didn't go far enough to challenge that today.
The government needs to make a simple assessment. Is forced labor being used in the production of these products? Yes or no? If yes, then these products must be banned.
Carney says supply chain integrity, including forced labor, will be raised when his finance minister visits China later this week. Tonight, Carney is scheduled to attend a Liberal Party fundraiser behind closed doors, hosted by 2 ministers and Michael Ma. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
A Winnipeg man is taking WestJet to court after the airline cancelled his flight and denied compensation, citing safety reasons. He did a little digging and found out there was much more to that story. Erica Johnson has this Go Public investigation.
These are my original bookings.
Rocky Neufeld was supposed to fly WestJet from Edmonton to Fort McMurray last year for work. He boarded the plane, but then a gate agent announced everyone had to get off, said WestJet needed the aircraft for another route. But about an hour later, an email from WestJet gave a different reason for the canceled flight.
They said it was mechanical issues. Just that was it.
Skeptical, Neufeld filed a claim, but WestJet denied compensation because under federal rules, airlines don't have to pay if a flight disruption is required for safety purposes. So he filed in small claims, then turned to the founder of an air passenger rights group for help. They looked at publicly available flight info and learned just 8 minutes before canceling Neufeld's flight, WestJet swapped his plane, used that original aircraft for a different route, leaving him with a plane that needed repairs. Neufeld says in settlement negotiations, a WestJet lawyer fessed up to the swap.
They did something very smart. They apologized.
Even though Neufeld agreed to keep discussions confidential, he says he's speaking out on principle.
When bad things happen, just own up to it.
This advocate says he objects to Neufeld breaking his confidentiality agreement, but says, big picture, airlines claiming safety issues, avoiding paying out, is a widespread problem.
I've seen a number of cases where there are very good reasons to doubt the airline story.
WestJet declined to answer any questions about this case or another similar case where the company swapped planes before canceling. An air passenger advocate says Canadians need to ask questions when their flights are canceled, saying airlines that break the rules rarely face fines. Erica Johnson, CBC News, Vancouver.
The 55th annual Juno Awards were handed out in Hamilton, Ontario over the weekend, honouring the best in Canadian music. Tate McRae was the biggest winner, while legendary Canadian singer-songwriter Joni Mitchell received a Lifetime Achievement Prize. Griffin Yeager has all the highlights.
Juno's weekend just wrapped, so here's your recap of the big moments.
But I keep coming back like a revolving door.
Though she wasn't there, Calgary's Tate McRae was the big winner, picking up 4 Junos. She opted to thank fans on Instagram, saying she's honored and thankful. Host Mae Martin kept the show safe, celebratory, and quintessentially Canadian.
I've spent the last month on tour across the United States, so I've never felt more grateful to be back in my homeland.
A through line that stuck throughout the night. Fans were surprised with an electric performance from Rush, a world first with the new drummer Annika Niles. And breakthrough artists Sophia Camara and Nico got their moments to shine before the award went to fellow nominee Cameron Whitcomb. It was a three-peat for the Beaches, who took home Group of the Year, the first all-women group to pull that off in the category.
There's no better feeling than coming home. Thank you so much, Canada. We love you.
Probably be a waste of your time. Daniel Caesar got an International Achievement Award performing a stripped-back set in the middle of the crowd, surrounded by a sea of cell phone stars. And the night really leaned into legacy.
You are our North Star.
Nelly Furtado was inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame with a star-studded tribute featuring a message from Drake and a medley by Julie Black, Sean Desmond, and Alessia Cara, to name a few.
Joni Mitchell sang.
And Joni Mitchell took home the Lifetime Achievement Award introduced by Prime Minister Mark Carney.
I want to thank the Junos for this great honor. I really appreciate it. I'm so glad to be back in Canada.
The show closed with a tribute to Mitchell from Sarah McLachlan and Alison Russell. Joni even joined in. Spanning generations and spotlighting Canadian music's latest and greatest. Griffin Yeager, CBC News, Hamilton, Ontario.
Meantime, Céline Dion is returning to the stage. The superstar says she'll perform a series of 10 concerts in Paris starting in September.
This year, I'm getting the best gift of my life. I'm getting the chance to see you, to perform for you once again in Paris.
The Canadian singer posted the emotional message on Instagram Monday, which was also her birthday. She says she's been managing her health and is once again singing. Posters had been put up around the French capital in recent weeks, teasing an upcoming concert series. Dion's last concert was in 2020, after which she was diagnosed with stiff person syndrome. It's a rare disorder that causes rigid muscles and spasms. While new voices are hitting Winnipeg airwaves, Punjabi speakers will soon be hearing their own language broadcast across the city. We'll have more on that next. The death of a 50-year-old woman hit by a semi-truck has left family and friends in shock. On Sunday, they gathered at the intersection where she was killed, a moment to remember her spirit while grieving her loss. CBC's Gavin Axelrod has more.
The intersection of Dufferin Avenue and Main Street has become a place of mourning. Dozens came to remember Nadine Goosehead Sr. She was hit by a semi-truck on Saturday afternoon and died. Kim Scott is her oldest sister.
She was a very strong woman. Loved everybody. Loved to laugh, sing. Was always there when you needed a helping hand.
Goosehead Sr. was originally from Bloodvein First Nation and came from a family of 13 siblings. Scott says they're still trying to make sense of her death.
It was shock. You never expect these kind of things.
She also says it means a lot to her family to see so many people who knew her sister come to the vigil. Nadine Goosehead Sr. spent a lot of time in this area.
She always used to tell me about her other family. And it's awesome to see them come out and join us today. I'm very thankful and very blessed.
I cried last night when I heard it.
Everett Campo knew Goosehead Sr. for about 5 years and said she'd stay with him when she needed somewhere warm to go. He last saw Goosehead Sr. Friday and says they were supposed to meet again on Monday.
Everybody that came out probably knew how she was a good person and she was lovable and laughable and you know that, and she had a good spirit in her.
Winnipeg police say the driver of the truck remained at the scene and is cooperating with the investigation. The family says they need answers into how this happened. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Students from all different backgrounds gathered at the U of M today to try their hand at tying a turban firsthand. The 4th annual Turban Day celebration got underway at the U of M. It's an interactive and educational event that celebrates Sikh identity, culture, and heritage. People had the opportunity to learn about the significance of the turban, talk about inclusion and diversity, and experience turban tying firsthand.
Oftentimes when I'm in class, there would be individuals that come up to me and they ask me, like, why do you tie a turban, or what does your color of the turban signify, or why does it shape different from a different style of turban? So this is a perfect opportunity for students, for members of the community to ask those questions.
The event was put on by the University of Manitoba Punjabi Students Association. And some new voices hit the airwaves today. Winnipeg now has a Punjabi language radio station. Connect Winnipeg 1290 AM offers news, talk shows, and music. CBC's Gavin Axelrod here's what it means for the community.
Sat Shri Akal, Winnipeg, Connect 1290 AM.
It's got the same look and feel as many radio stations across the city. But Winnipeg's newest station will be on the air all hours of the day, mostly in Punjabi. Prachi Sani is one of the hosts at Connect 1290 AM.
When I came here a couple years ago, I put on the radio. I tried tuning in channels. There was not a single voice in my own language that could tell me what's going on. And when I went ahead and when I opened Winnipeg News, a lot of my community issues were not there.
Sani says Connect 1290 AM will have talk radio shows with guests including politicians and community stories.
People have issues, it's just they do not know who they need to reach out to or who could actually take a stand for them, who could actually represent them.
Tajinder Singh says one of those issues is extortion targeting South Asian communities. He's Connect Media Network's Director of Strategy.
Radio actually plays a role in them not just understanding but also articulating what they feel and what their needs are.
Connect Media Network also has stations in Edmonton, Calgary, and Surrey, British Columbia. The 1290 AM frequency has broadcast everything from music to sports to comedy. In the 2021 census, more than 30,000 people living in Winnipeg said Punjabi was their mother tongue. Parvez Sandhu is Connect Media Network's news director.
They're going to be covering a lot of local stories, and it's going to be the community stories told by community people.
On Saturday, the studio held an open house which drew dozens of community members. Sikh prayers were also held before Connect goes on air Monday. Taranch Bhatnagar will be tuned in.
A lot of people like me, I have an old car, so I don't have Bluetooth radio or anything, but I miss like my own songs, right? So I have to go through things. So this really excites me.
Sani says the station will also play music and have evening programs hosted in English. She hopes it will connect everyone to the culture. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The weather update is brought to you by Paul Davis Property Restoration Experts. When things go wrong, we do what's right.
And a big congratulations to everyone over there. Love to see the broadcast teams expanding. So nice to see people getting into different communities as well. And being able to hear your own language on broadcast is so important.
It's very exciting.
So congratulations. What is not so exciting, depending on who you ask, is the snow, because you keep telling us we do need the moisture.
Yes, we do. And, you know, we'll see some of this coming. You know, we're on the tail end of the season, Brittany. Things are changing on us here. So let's enjoy the dog walking forecast. Maybe distract you if you don't like the snow and the wind that comes along with it. How about Charlie, who is jumping for joy? I don't know if it's because of the snow or perhaps because spring is in the air. Thank you, Pat, for sending this picture, and please keep sending yours to talkback@cbc.ca. So in the morning, we'll see the tail end of some of that snow pushing off into eastern Manitoba and northwestern Ontario. Then we're left with a mainly cloudy sky, although once we get through the back half of the day, that's when we have a better chance of seeing some sunny breaks, but certainly more clearing in earnest by the time we head into the day on Wednesday. Things staying on the breezy side at times as we head through the day tomorrow as well. Okay, right now in Winnipeg, -3, light snow falling at the airport. It's kind of tapered off downtown here, at least for the moment. Northeast winds at 20 with that pressure rising at the moment. -4s and 5s across the rest of southern Manitoba for the most part, although we have a +1 in Fort Francis. And as that system pushes into Ontario, there's the potential for some mixed precipitation through the overnight hours. -7 in Thompson right now, and Churchill is sitting at -20. So your overnight forecast, periods of snow continuing, another 2 to 4 centimeters coming really from the Parkland east into northwestern Ontario as we head through the overnight hours. -9s for Brandon and Verdun, as well as Dauphin. -11 in Swan River. Could be a bit breezy at times in the west. -13s, mainly cloudy for the Pas, OCN into Grand Rapids, and -18 overnight into Thompson. So variable cloudiness across northern Manitoba. Temperatures pop up close to the freezing mark as we get through the afternoon. Some cloud here and there, but expect some sunshine at least into northern parts of the province. And then there's the bulk of that snow as it pushes out into northwestern Ontario. We do get some clearing in behind this for western parts of the province as we get through the afternoon. So more like a mix of sun and clouds into the afternoon, for example, through Brandon and into Melita. And your long range looks like this. Get some cloud building back into the west as we get through the middle of the week. Periods of snow into the day on Thursday. A chance some of that gets into the Interlake as we get through the middle part of the week as well. Temperatures up to 4 through the Interlake into Friday afternoon. And in northern Manitoba, looking at a mix of sun and clouds really through the balance of the work week, and temperatures that pop up, at least for most of the region, close to seasonal, Brittany, for this time of the year.
All right. Thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
A 70-year-old Saskatoon woman is busy breaking records and taking home medals in running. She's not just an inspiration to other seniors. Even her grandkids think she's cool. Helena Mahalik has her story.
As Lynn Warwick Epp gets older, she isn't slowing down. In fact, she might be speeding up. The 70-year-old retired psychologist is on a hot streak, winning track competitions across Canada and around the world. She's now the fastest ever Canadian woman in her age group in the 1-mile race. In January, she smashed a national record by 8 seconds, and she's getting a lot of attention for it.
Well, yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It feels great to be an inspiration, I guess.
She doesn't train alone. She's part of Saskatoon's Running Wild Athletics Club, and her coach is quite proud of her success.
She is ranked #1 in the mile in the entire world for her age, and she's ranked 4th in both the 800 and 1500 in the world.
Warwick Epp started running in her 20s to help her stop smoking. As the decades passed by, she just kept running.
I feel so physically good after I run, and I also feel mentally really, really good. I've been able to work through lots of stress through work and just family things that come up.
But she didn't start running track until 6 years ago, at the age of 64. Since then, she's represented Team Canada on the world stage.
I've been to national events and international events, which have been just so inspiring to me because I'm meeting tons of other athletes who are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Her grandchildren like to try to keep up. Enzo Ekudi says his friends say his grandma is so cool, and he says he wants to be just like her.
It's beyond belief. It's so incredibly heartwarming to have my grandkids running in the same track club that I am in.
Now she gets to do what she loves alongside her loved ones and has no plans to stop. Helena Mahalik, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Coming up, we'll take you to some place where things are blooming. Plus, Riley has a last check on our forecast. A Winnipeg Blue Bomber and fan favorite is hanging up his cleats. And maybe his fur jacket. After nearly a decade playing professional football, quarterback Chris Streveler is retiring. The 31-year-old American played 4 seasons with the Blue and Gold. He helped the Bombers win the Grey Cup in 2019. He then took a shot at the NFL playing with the Arizona Cardinals and the New York Jets before rejoining the Bombers for the last 2 seasons.
And with the weather this week, you might want to keep the fur coat handy there. Okay, looking at radar, and some of that snow has lightened up as it's pushed eastward. So back into just some light snow in and around Winnipeg right now, but some of that's starting to redevelop back to the west again. So looking at periods of light snow continuing as we get into the early morning hours, up to -2 by the afternoon in Winnipeg. And then we start to jump up again. There's a chance that we do see some snow as we get toward the end of the week, overnight Thursday into Friday for the Red River Valley. Temperatures around 1 degree through both Thursday and Friday, and then things pop up above the freezing mark again as we get into Easter weekend. There's 0 by the time we get to Easter Sunday. One weather picture, Rosella shot this today in the city of this goose. There's 2 of them there on top of the Winnipeg Clinic, perhaps a bit confused, thinking that they were coming back to something a little bit more warm. You can send your pics to talkback@cbc.ca. So yeah, it doesn't look like spring here just yet. But in other parts of the world, a stunning and sure sign of spring is on full display right now.
It sure is. We're a ways away from having anything really blooming here. But in parts of North America, Asia, and Europe, it is cherry blossom season. Here's your Daily Lift. It is my favorite season. Huge crowds have been visiting this park in Rome, where hundreds of cherry trees are in full bloom. They were a gift of friendship from Tokyo to the Italian capital in 1959. In the U.S., the annual National Cherry Blossom Festival is underway in Washington.
The first of its nearly 4,000 Japanese cherries were gifted to the capital by Japan back in 1910, with 250 more coming this year in honor of America's 250th birthday. But nowhere is the cherry blossom celebration bigger than here in Tokyo, where crowds finally descended on the city's iconic Ueno Park after several consecutive days of rain. I just love how they add such a pop of color.
And in Vancouver, people are just out and about taking all of the photos. It reminds me of spring at home.
Probably in the rain.
That's okay. It's in the snow for us here. Have a wonderful night.